To this, so I'm just not aware of the StreamYard thing. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome back to the Bhagavad Gita study circle. I mean, the concept remains the same, but we are going to start and discuss Srimad Bhagavatam. I have not changed the slide, but soon I'll change the slide. So today we are going to start the Srimad Bhagavatam. But before we start Srimad Bhagavatam, let us chant the pranam mantras as we always do. Um, Let us dedicate this session to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder, Acharya of ISKCON, and my beloved spiritual master. And the very interesting thing is, Prabhupada is the first Acharya who has translated Srimad Bhagavatam in English language. So until then, it was all in Sanskrit and Bengali and many other languages, Indian languages. But it was Prabhupada who actually translated Srimad Bhagavatam first time in English language. And today we find people reading across the world the Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? So our humble gratitude to Prabhupada who has contributed so much in transforming people's life and still continuing to transform people's life across the world. So let us begin with the pranam mantras. Kindly join your palms and let's chant the pranam mantras. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Welcome all of you to the Bhagavad Gita study circle. And we will soon change the name appropriately, but it will still remain a study circle. Okay. So before starting the Srimad Bhagavatam, we all chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, this mantra 3 times. So let us all join our palms and chant the Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 3 times along with me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Next time, I will introduce some more new shlokas and mantras that we chant before the Srimad Bhagavatam on the slide, and we will all practice them going forward. So, we are starting a very interesting, a very transformative journey in our spiritual life. And this is very powerful, extremely powerful, because Bhagavatam is something which we need to hear and we need to practice. So it is a very, very special scripture, and it is something that we need to practice in our day to day life. Srimad Bhagavatam, the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam is what we are going to discuss today. So I'm just opening up since this is the first session. I'll also take some inputs from all of you, but I just wanted to share some of my thoughts as to how this journey will be going forward. So Bhagavatam is large in the sense of the number of verses compared to Bhagavad Gita. And we know in the Bhagavad Gita itself, there are 700 shlokas, and we took about 5 years to complete the 700 shlokas. So this Bhagavatam, although we can do it verse by verse, but it's going to take a lot of time. But for each one of us, to take it and apply and to simplify a little bit, I was thinking that I will be sharing very important pastimes, the stories of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Along with the stories, we will learn different qualities and aspects of that particular pastime that which we can implement and apply in our life. So I am looking this whole journey in terms of application. Knowledge will be there, but along with knowledge, I'm thinking that this has to be more to do with action because transformation comes only when we take action. So that is why, along with these pastimes, along with the stories that we are going to discuss from the Bhagavatam, we will look into those aspects of something that needs to be changed or acted upon in our own conscious mind and subconscious mind because this is about transforming our beliefs. So Bhagavatam is going to set very high standards in terms of our devotion, and Bhagavatam is actually talking about how to practice the principles of the Bhagavad Gita practically. And this pastimes, the stories that we are going to discuss in the Bhagavatam, is actually the application of the principles of the Bhagavad Gita by various devotees that we are going to come across in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam is uh, huge, and all these pastimes only reflect upon how a devotee should be, what should be his qualities, and how he can practically apply the knowledge of the scriptures so that he can get connected to Krishna very nicely, very smoothly, and the bonding between Krishna and the devotee should be intensified. And that is what Bhagavatam does. Bhagavatam actually intensifies the relationship between the devotee and Krishna, right? And this is how we need to progress in spiritual life by applying the principles of the scriptures, of the Bhagavatam, of the Bhagavad Gita. So the whole stress here will be on application. So we will understand the pastime and then we will also try to apply the principles of the Bhagavatam so that our life gets transformed. So, knowledge, there is no end to knowledge, there is no end to learning. We can keep on learning so much, on and on and on, right? There is no end. But there are so many verses in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Bhagavatam. Also, Prabhupada says it many times knowledge alone does not help us to attain the supreme. Knowledge alone does not. What really helps us to attain the supreme is the application of the knowledge. So this will be more focused on how, after every pastime that we discuss, how can we apply the principles. So at the end of the session, this is what I am thinking, that it should be more of engagement. Should be more of application based. So I just want to hear from each one of you how excited you are and also what are your thoughts on just what I shared. So you can just unmute yourself, you can speak up, and I want each one of you to interact so that we can understand how this is going to be. And also I have another thing to ask to all of you is, should we do it in English or should we do it in Hindi? So, how many of you are not comfortable with Hindi? You can also please let me know so that accordingly from here we will start this journey. Okay, so please go ahead and who would like to start? I just want to hear from you about how excited you are about this whole journey. Please. We also have Lakshmi Mataji on YouTube, also Vinodji on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining. And all those who have joined on YouTube, you can please say Hare Krishna. That will be very kind of you. Yes, please go ahead. You want to say anything, Kaushik? Yes, Dave, you want to say something? Anything that you want to share? Oh, welcome. We have also Neha joining us on YouTube. Thank you so much, Neha. Sorry, there is someone speaking, but it's not audible. Can you just check your mic? Dave, I think it's you, but I'm not able to hear you. Ashutanji, go ahead. You want to share something?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, this has been journey so far as far as Bhagavad Gita has been concerned has been, it's very hard to explain, but, It has been an amazing journey. I mean, it has definitely given a lot of um, you know a lot of change that I can see in myself. I can definitely see that, and I'm pretty excited with this new journey that we are starting today,
Yeah.
and with you as our spiritual, what you call teacher, and then we have our group who also share their own their own experiences. So I mean, it's going to be an amazing journey. I mean, just can't. It's so exciting that I mean, hard to express, very hard to. But I'm sure we are good. There's going to be a lot of learning again, more and more learning. There's no end to it, and just looking forward to it. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Achutanji. Divik, you want to share something?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay, we also have Neha talking us, and she's saying so excited to know about the shloka and the pastimes of Krishna, also to get known about how to apply that in our life. Hari Hari Bol, excited. So she's really very excited. Thank you so much. We also have Lakshmi Mataji who says that Hare Krishna, first thing first, please Prabhuji, English, as deeper Hindi cannot be understood, cannot understand. Been really waiting for this Haribol. Okay, so there is a demand for English. So I was also thinking that we will go with English because my Hindi is also not that great. But since there were some people who were requesting for Hindi, so I just wanted to pitch this idea to each one of you. But I think it will be in English so that everyone across the world can listen to this in English. Yes, you want to say anything, Kaushik? Hina Mataji? Okay, looks like there is a issue with the audio. I'm not able to hear. Okay, Vinoji is on YouTube. All right, no issues. Maybe you just want to give a try once again. One second, just hold on. Yeah, I think now you can try. Dave, maybe you can try now. Okay, now you can all try. Yeah, you can unmute and Kaushik, you can try now.
Sorry, Prabhuji. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you right. Yeah.
Oh, okay, great, great. No, I think I wanted to echo everyone's thoughts.
Before you start, can
I
you
think,
switch on your video for a short while until you speak?
oh, Prabhuji, I'm not in a place to
Ah,
be on
acha, all
video.
right. Please.
No, no problem. No,
No
I'm
problem.
just outside. I was just with some people, so that's why I stepped out.
No
Um,
problem.
no, no, I was just saying, I think for Bhagavatam, I'm also excited. Hopefully, time zones I can make the sessions, but more than that, I think for the group and myself, it's always it's such a big text, and so it's very intimidating to get started. So we know some of the stories kind of high level, but I've always wondered, there's so much text in there. So I'm actually also excited to learn more and dive deeper. And to your point, I think the practical learnings makes a lot of sense. And yeah, and I guess my preference slightly would be for English, but if we do Hindi, it'll be an opportunity for me to learn Hindi. So, but thank you again for this initiative, Prabhuji. I think I'm very excited, and I think it'll be very rewarding for everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kaushik. I'm sure this is going to be very rewarding, like you said, because it's all about we are investing in our own self, our own spiritual life. So when we do that, that's the greatest investment that anyone can do to invest in yourself, right? So this is the time that we get to know about ourselves. So Srimad Bhagavatam is actually like a mirror, which is going to show us who we are, and it will also show all the good and bad things, good, bad, ugly, everything to us. So that is how Srimad Bhagavatam is. And the best thing is when we go through it in a nice way, in a very systematic way, then we will understand, oh my God, this is something that I can apply in my own life. This is how can I can connect with Krishna and our Guru, right? So all these things are very beautiful. There's a lot of process. Of course, there will be a lot of theory, and we'll try to simplify the whole thing so as much as possible, because each sloka, each verse is so deep. It's so much to understand. It is huge and vast. Like the Bhagavad Gita, every shloka, we have discussed in detail so much that we had to extend it for 5 years. But Bhagavatam, we will try to concise it and see that how we can move forward quickly. At the same time, we progress by applying the principles that we learn. Hinamata, do you want to share something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Prabhuji, Bhagavatam has been very fascinating. I've heard few kathas, and I've always told Dev that it fascinates me because it's when you read in a story form or hear in the story form, it's very, very profound, the message. So I'm very, very excited for this. And prefer the story format, the katha format, as you said, because we will learn the lesson because 18,000 shlokas will be practically impossible to finish. And they are, I think, very deep, as you said. I have just read a few, but
Hmm.
they are very deep. And in fact, the first time I came across Bhagavatam was uh, the cosmology part. And when
Yes.
I, in some one of the sessions before, and it was so confusing for me. So I think it will be better in whatever format you can put across, which is simpler to understand.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
but I
that will be
enjoy it a lot, and I always, whenever I have a opportunity, I hear it in the katha form
yeah,
from on YouTube. So it's very, I'm very excited for this. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
wonderful. And Vinod is also here. He says he's super excited about it. We also have Dishna joining us on YouTube. Thank you, each one of you. So, like you said, this Bhagavatam, when we discuss in the story format, that is what we can relate to, because stories are something that we can connect with. And Ved Vyasa, 5,000 years ago, he compiled most of these Puranas, the Itihasas, and the Bhagavatam, all these things in a form of stories, because people in Kali can connect only to this. Otherwise, the original Vedic text, they are so complicated. In sense, the Vedanta Sutra, the Brahma Sutra, they are highly philosophical, and there is so much of analytical study that one has to go through to understand the real meaning of what the message is, right? So extremely difficult when it comes to understanding the Vedas and the Vedanta Sutra. But it is the mercy of Ved Vyasa that he has given us the Srimad Bhagavatam, and even more merciful Prabhupada, who has given us Bhagavatam in English language. So we can understand, we can discuss it today, and we can apply and become perfect in our life, right? So today, I just want to share the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is not just one session that we are going to discuss the glories of the Bhagavatam. The glories of the Bhagavatam can be expanded. We will extend this because it's important that whatever scripture we are studying, we are going to study Bhagavatam, we need to understand the importance of it. And Srimad Bhagavatam has a very high position when it comes to all the Vedic literature. So that is why we need to understand the glory of the Srimad Bhagavatam. What is Srimad Bhagavatam? And there are different Puranas which explain about the glories of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavat Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam, is also called as the Bhagavata Purana. So one of the 18 Puranas is Srimad Bhagavatam. And all other Puranas, they also glorify the Srimad Bhagavatam. It is, in one sense, the king of the Puranas. Right? So very, very powerful Srimad Bhagavatam is. And that is why even today, people in India, they apply this. They have Bhagavad Kathas, like Hina Mataji was saying, because Bhagavatam is something very relatable now. And in Kali Yuga, we really cannot access the Vedas to our full knowledge. We cannot completely access it because it is so much in Sanskrit and people really cannot understand that to the complicated Sanskrit that Vedas come across, right? So Bhagavatam is very easy for each one of us to understand. So what is this Srimad Bhagavatam? Srimad Bhagavatam. Shri. Shri means uh, opulence, ojas, tejas, Aishwarya. It is Saundarya, Yash, Sampatti. All this is actually Shri. So it actually gives all of these to a sincere devotee. Although a sincere devotee is not really looking for Yash, Tejas, Sampati, Aishwarya. Nothing. He has no desire for any material benefits, right? So Bhagavatam is not for this, although it provides every katha in Srimad Bhagavatam. There is a falashruti. If you read this particular pastime, you will get this. If you read that pastime, you will get that. So each and every story or the pastime of the Bhagavatam, every chapter has a falashruti. So that is why it is extremely important that when we understand, material benefits will automatically come. But what is most important is how can I develop my relationship with Krishna? That is the most important thing. Please understand. This is extremely very important. So Bhagavatam is meant to re-establish our connection with Krishna. It is not for any material. And the greatest tree is that love of Godhead. So this is what Bhagavatam is going to offer to all of us, is that love that we have to develop for Krishna. This is what Sri means, along with all the material things. The greatest thing that Bhagavatam is ready to offer is that love of Krishna. Prema Bhakti, Krishna Bhakti is what he is actually going to give it to all of us. And Bhagavata. Now, Bhagavata also comes from that word Bhagavan. You must have heard this before also, that Bhagavan means Bhaga. Bhaga means opulences. Six opulences that we have discussed earlier also. One is Aishwarya. Aishwarya means wealth, fame, knowledge, strength, religion, beauty. You see, this is our six opulences, right? So six opulences, Bhagavata, Bhagavan, Bhagavan. So Bhaga means opulences. So all these are going to be offered to all of us if we are sincere in learning and listening to Srimad Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam has all of this actually. And Bhagavatam is anadi. Now, some people have this conception that, okay, Bhagavatam means it is something just spoken 5,000 years ago at the beginning of the Kali Yuga. That is what people understand. People understand that Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken by Shukadev Goswami just about 5,000 years ago. That is the understanding people have. But that is not actually the truth. Srimad Bhagavatam is Anadi. Anadi means it is coming from time immemorial. So it is eternal actually. Oh, it came in a certain format. That is 5,000 years ago. But before that, also it was existing. Srimad Bhagavatam is always It is very, very old. This Puranic Vidya, it is not 5,000 years old. Puranic Vidya was always existing. It is Anadi. But in Satya Yuga, this Puranic Vidya, this same Srimad Bhagavatam, was also called as Paramahansika Sangita. Sangita means it is a compilation. That's why if you see Bhagavatam is not just verses. It is a compilation of different pastimes. Right? Bhagavatam is a compilation of different stories. So Sangita means it's a compilation. Paramahansika Sangita means in Satyuga, who were all Paramahansas. That time Satyuga means each one of them, the whole society was Paramahansas. So those Paramahansas used to relish this Srimad Bhagavatam. So it was called as Paramahansika Sangita. It was also called as Satvata Sangita. Satvata Sangita, which means it is beyond the three modes. It is not under the jurisdiction of the three modes. It is beyond the three modes. That's why it's called Satvata Sangita also. It's a compilation. Now, who said to whom? This originally was spoken by Lord Narayana himself, Lord Vishnu, to whom? To Brahma. Brahma, when he wanted to create, he got the knowledge in the heart, right? So this original Srimad Bhagavatam was first heard by Brahmaji from Lord Vishnu, and Vishnu gave this Srimad Bhagavatam in only four slokas that we will understand in the discussion in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It is called Chatur Shloki Bhagavatam. So there are four verses which had the whole Bhagavatam. So what Brahmaji got was only four verses from Lord Vishnu, and those four verses actually expanded into 18,000 verses. So some people have another understanding or a misconception, rather, I should say, that okay, now Shukdev Goswami, he comes into the picture in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which we talk about 18,000 verses. In the first canto, Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken by Shukdev Goswami, but Shukdev Goswami's entry is in the last chapter of the first canto. He enters the whole scene in the last chapter. And by sixth chapter of the 12th canto, Shukdev Goswami is gone. But Shukdev Goswami, after he leaves also, there are so many other chapters until the last chapter, the Bhagavatam continues. So from Janmad Yasaton Vayad, that is very first verse, until the last verse, Nama Sankirtanamesya, it is complete 18,000 verses. Now, some people say, no, we will look into Bhagavatam, only what Shukdev Goswami has spoken, only that is Bhagavatam, and the other portion which Shukdev Goswami has not spoken is not Bhagavatam. No, it is not like that. So it is complete. The whole setup, the whole compilation of 18,000 verses is the complete Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm just giving you this because some people have this kind of idea that whatever Shukdev Goswami has spoken is only Bhagavatam, and rest everything which is there has to be eliminated, should not be discussed. Some people look into that. But we should know that Vyasa, when he compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam, he compiled it even before Shukdev Goswami spoke it. So we should understand Vyasa is Lord Incarnation. So incarnation of the Supreme Lord, he already did everything before it was actually mm, taken place physically. Just like Mahabharata. Mahabharata was compiled by Vyasa 600 years before Mahabharata actually took place, even before Dhritarashtra was born. Okay, so similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam also was compiled even before Shukdev Goswami had spoken this to Parikshit Maharaj. So that's why I'm trying to give this idea that this is Anadi. It is important that this original knowledge was received by Brahma in the form of 4 shlokas, and from Brahma to Narada, Narada to Vyasa, and that's how the parampara continues. This is one parampara. So Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite. Another version is, another Acharya has also mentioned that how Mahamuni Krite. Who is this Mahamuni Krite? Who is the one who has actually written this Srimad Bhagavatam or given Bhagavatam to us? Who is this Mahamuni? It is also referred to Nara Narayan Rishi, the Narayan Rishi, who are sitting in the Badrikashrama even now. So Nara Narayan Rishi are actually sitting in the Badrikashram. They are the one who actually gave this knowledge to all of us in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this Narayan Rishi gave knowledge to Narada Muni. This is another version. So Narayan Rishi gave this to Narada, from Narada to Vyasa, and this is how the parampara continues. So this is another version of this. So this is, we should understand that Srimad Bhagavatam is complete in nature, very much. And there are different Puranas, they glorify this Srimad Bhagavatam, like Garuda Purana. Garuda Purana says, there's a very nice verse, I'll just read it out. Artoyam Brahma Sutranam Bharatartha Vinirnayo Gayatri Bhasharupasam Vedhartha Paribhuhita. What does this mean? Artoyam Brahma Sutranam. See, Brahma Sutra and Vedanta Sutra, they are the same. Okay, so Brahma Sutra, all these Bhagavatam shlokas have Brahma Sutras in them. When we read certain shlokas, certain verses in the Bhagavatam, Brahma Sutras are integrated with Srimad Bhagavatam verses. Please understand. So whatever there is, the essence of the Vedas is already integrated with Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is so wonderful. So you are not missing out. So this is the beauty of Srimad Bhagavatam, the way Vyasa has compiled, that, oh, I cannot read Vedas now. Don't worry. If you cannot read Vedas and understand the Vedas, Brahma Sutras, you just read Bhagavatam, because Bhagavatam has all of that. It is so wonderful. So Srimad Bhagavatam has integrated all these Brahma Sutras within it. So Brahma Sutranam, Artoyam Brahma Sutranam, very important, understand. Yeah, so just give me a minute. There's some background noise. Bharatartha Virininayo. Bharatartha means Mahabharata. Mahabharata is also called as Bharata, Jaya. These are the different names of Mahabharata. So Mahabharata is also called as Bharatartha. Bharatarthasya Virininayo. See now, Mahabharata, it talks about the four Purusharthas: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So Dharma, Artha, Kam, Moksha are the principal discussions of the Mahabharata. Of course, there are Mahabharata is also an itihasa. It has a lot of pastimes. It has many other details in terms of how do we follow Dharma, Adharma. Many things are there mentioned in the Mahabharata. But the essence of Mahabharata is also in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Please understand. Very, very important. Srimad Bhagavatam has the essence of Mahabharata also. Gayatri Bhasha Rupaswam. Now, if you carefully understand, this whole Bhagavatam is also as powerful as the Gayatri Mantra. It has the same rupa or understanding. The verses are very much in line with the Gayatri Mantra. That's why the very first verse is what does it say? Satyam Param Dhimahi. In Gayatri Mantra also, there is this word Dhimahi, right? Om Bhur Bhuvatsva Tatsa Vitur Varanyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, right? It ends with what? Dhimahi. Here, the very first verse of Bhagavatam also ends with Dhimahi. It has Gayatri mantra already. So it's very, very powerful, extremely powerful. Bhagavatam study. And then Vedhartha Paribhuhita. Complete Veda Artha. Everything is there. Brahma Sutra is also there. Veda Artha is also there in Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam is one stop point for you to self-realize and develop love of God. Just like when you go to shopping mall, everything is there in the shopping mall. One stop. You can buy everything, whatever you want. So it's like that. Srimad Bhagavatam is like that beautiful spiritual mall that you can say that anything that you want to pluck from the Vedas, anything that is mentioned in the Vedas, everything is there. All the fruits of the Vedas are there in Srimad Bhagavatam. It's one stop point for you to get self-realized. That is how it is. So beautiful. We have Krishnananda ji. Thank you so much for joining. Very nice. So how did the Srimad Bhagavatam come into picture now? Yes. So many years ago, I mean, even before that, when Vyasa was sitting into meditation, this Srimad Bhagavatam was revealed to Vyasa in his chitta, in his consciousness, when he was meditating. When he was meditating, the Srimad Bhagavatam was revealed to him. We all know that after compiling Mahabharata, Vyasa was actually not satisfied. He was still thinking that there is something missing in my whole creation of this Vedic history. I have written Puranas, I have written Vedas, I have given the Brahma Sutras, the Vedanta Sutras, all Itihasas I have given. All these things are given, but I'm still not satisfied. So then what is happening? Why he was not satisfied? Because Mahabharata and other Itihasas, the Puranas, they're only talking about the four Purusharthas, the Varnashrama, many other details of Dharma, many things have been discussed. But the exclusive glorification of Krishna was not done. It has glorification of Krishna, Vishnu, Narayana, all the other Puranas and the Vedas. But there is no exclusive book which glorifies the Supreme Lord. So that is why the dissatisfaction was there. So Srimad Bhagavatam is what? Srimad Bhagavatam is that compilation of Vyasa which directly glorifies Krishna. It is that glorification which helps us to connect with Krishna. Very, very important. So that is why there is that beautiful verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam which says, Nigama kalpataroho galitam phalam. Nigama kalpataroho galitam phalam. Shukhamukha damrata dravyasam yutam. Pibata bhagavato rasamalayam मुहुरपि रसिकाः भुवि भावुकाः निगमकल्पतरोः गलितं फलम्. So what is this? This is Nigama. Nigama means Veda. Vedas are also called as Nigama. Nigama Kalpataroho. This whole Vedic tree, is so huge, vast. So, of this Vedic tree, there is that Galitam Phalam, the most ripened fruit. And that ripened fruit is Srimad Bhagavatam. And it is not just ripe, Galitam Phalam Shukhamukhad, Amritadravya Samyutam. When a ripened fruit, when it is tasted by the parrot, the fruit becomes even more relishable. The fruit becomes even more sweet. So similarly, this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is so ripe, it's a ripened fruit of the Vedas, is being touched or spoken by Shukadev Goswami. So Shukracharya is the one who spoke this Srimad Bhagavatam. He is a parrot. And when it is touched by the parrot-like mouth of Shukadev Goswami, this Srimad Bhagavatam becomes even more sweet, even more relishable. So that is the beauty of Srimad Bhagavatam, and that is what we are going to study. The most ripened fruit of the Vedas is the subject matter of discussion from now onwards. So we are studying Srimad Bhagavatam in detail. So very, 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 very beautiful. Right? So we also have Kalpakam Ramanathan. Thank you so much for joining on YouTube. Thank you. Very nice. And Acha, Krishnananda is saying that we need to be a little louder. Am I audible right now? Krishnananda, just look it on YouTube. I hope that I am audible. Okay. So this is a very, very beautiful subject matter. Srimad Bhagavatam is actually the Galitam Phalam, the most ripened fruit of the Vedas. And what more, you can just eat it and relish it so nicely. Okay. So very interesting. Now, the Padma Purana says that reading one verse of Srimad Bhagavatam is equivalent to reading all the other 18 Puranas. Can you imagine? Reading one verse of Bhagavatam is equivalent to reading all the 18 Puranas. That is the statement of the Padma Purana. So beautiful it is. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also recommends that we need to read Bhagavatam and understand Bhagavatam. Many things Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said if you want to develop your bhakti, you need to go to pilgrimage. You need to associate with the devotees. You need to do deity worship. And you need to read Bhagavatam. Reading Bhagavatam is extremely important. Bhagavatam, if we read, Bhagavatam will help us to associate with the devotees properly. It will help us to do deity worship properly, right? And it will help us to also understand the Dham Yatra that we are doing properly when we understand Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is the benefit of this Bhagavatam. And Bhagavatam is compared to light, Deepa. It is compared to diyas. Why it is called? It is called Adhyatma Deepam. Srimad Bhagavatam is called Adhyatma Deepam because it gives us that joy, it gives us that light. So it is compared to that light which will take away all the darkness from our heart. That is why it is called the Deepa. The soul is also there within us, spreading light and giving consciousness to us. But that consciousness to spread more and more light, we need to have the knowledge of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So this, when our soul energy is in synergizes with the knowledge of the Bhagavatam, then it will glow more and more. We will be able to glow more and more with this light. That's why it's called Adhyatma Deepam. Srimad Bhagavatam is also compared to the Surya. What does the Surya does? The sun dispels all the darkness. Early morning, the moment the sun rises, it dispels all the darkness. Similarly, when we have the Srimad Bhagavatam with us, all that ignorance which is there, that ignorance will be destroyed. Ignorance is compared to darkness. So the light of the Bhagavatam actually will dispel all the ignorance from our heart. And when there is so much of brilliance within us, when the ignorance is gone, you can imagine how much happy you will all be. Happiness comes by knowledge. When we are ignorant, that is when the problem comes in our life. And why it is compared to Surya? Because among all the planets, the sun is the topmost, is the best planet, is the topmost planet, right? among all the planets. So similarly, among all the Vedas, among all the Puranas, the Srimad Bhagavatam is like Surya. It is the sun among all the Puranas, and it gives us joy. And it is the ripened fruit, like we already understood, right? Nigama kalpataroho. It is the ripened fruit. It is compared to the ripened fruit. Why? Because what is ripe in Srimad Bhagavatam? The ripened fruit gives us the all the three important things. What are the three important? Sambandha, Abhidhaya, and Prayojana. Sambandha, Abhidhaya, and Prayojana is all described in Srimad Bhagavatam. And the most important thing is the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where we understand the topmost love of the gopis to Krishna, Madhurya. That Madhurya is also described. That's a Galitam Phalam. Why it is called the ripened fruit? Because the highest experience, highest spiritual bliss is that Madhurya Rasa. And that Madhurya Rasa is given in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and there is no other scriptures, no other Purana explains this particular pastime so much in detail. This Madhurya is what Bhagavatam has to offer to us. He's ready to offer to us. That is the highest level of discussion that anybody can have. That's the highest level of experience that anybody can have. Right? So that's why it's called Galitam Phalam, ripened fruit. And why it is called? Because you see, the gopis, they took the ashraya of Krishna, complete surrender. Ashraya Tattva, it is called. So that Ashraya Tattva, that Madhurya, is what Bhagavatam explains to all of us. So we need to come to that state, or at least strive to come to that state of like the gopis, where we completely surrender to Krishna. Nothing else. Really, nothing else really matters to any one of us. But this is what matters, that we completely paritajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayami masudha. Right? So this is the state that we need to come in. Srimad Bhagavatam is also compared to Mohini Avatara. Interesting, right? Srimad Bhagavatam is compared to Mohini Avatara. Why Mohini Avatara? Because this nectar, the nectar, Mohini Avatara was taking, had the pot of nectar, right? Amrita. So that Shuddha Bhakti, that Prema Bhakti is like that nectar. And Mohini Avatara, the Lord himself takes this bhakti and gives it to whom? The sincere devotees, Devatas. So Mohini was giving this nectar to all the Devatas, right? So Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna. It is going to give us this nectar, this Amrita, Shuddha Bhakti to all of us if we are sincere. And there were also other asuras who were wanting this. So there are many people who come to listen to Bhagavatam. They want to understand Bhagavatam, but with some material motives, less like the asuras. So Bhagavatam will offer them all the material benefits. Like I told you earlier also, right? Bhagavatam can offer everything to us. All Aishwarya, Anadi, Sampati, Yesh, all those things will be given to us. But that is for the asuras. Asuras means those who are not very interested, not very inclined towards Bhagavatam, but they want some material benefits. Bhagavatam offers them that also. But for sincere devotees, it offers nectar, like Mohini Avatara. So that is why it is the essence. It is the essence of all the Vedas. And it can fully satisfy us. Anyone who understands Bhagavatam will be fully satisfied. Very, very satisfied. Among the rivers, Ganga is supreme. So Bhagavatam is compared to that also sometimes. It is very pure. Among the Devatas, the greatest is Shambhu, Mahadev. And among the Puranas, Srimad Bhagavatam is the topmost. So very, very powerful. Before we proceed further, there is a question by Neha on YouTube. She says, Hare Krishna, we all know the how supreme Radharani and Krishna is, but when? Let me display that. So, but when I used to be a beginner, I used to greet everyone with Radhe Radhe, but devotees say that we should say Hare Krishna. Why so? Okay, so see, to have this saying or greeting each one of them Radhe Radhe is not wrong as such, but it is good in Vrindavan because the mood of Vrindavan, the Vrajavasis, is different. So that is why there in Vrindavan, when we go, everyone is greeting Radhe Radhe. They don't even take Krishna's name as much as they take Radharani. That's why Vrindavan, the Vrajeshwari is Radharani. So the mood of Rajavasis is something different, and there it is okay to say Radhe Radhe. But for us, because pure name Radharani is a very special devotee, and sometimes people tend to take these words, this greeting very lightly, Radhe Radhe. For something very casually, also people may take Radhe Radhe for doing something very. In Vrindavan, it is fine, but I think it is most important for us as ISKCON devotees also. Prabhupada says, Prabhupada would have told us, okay, you can say Radhe Radhe, but Prabhupada has very clearly stated that just say Hare Krishna. Huh? Let this be our emphasis. Let that mood of Rajavasis be unique there. And when we go to Vrindavan, let us all talk. When we let us all greet saying Radhe Radhe. But here, in our normal terms, let us say Hare Krishna. That is very good for all of us. Hare Krishna is also part of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, which is recommended. So let us say Hare Krishna, and that way it's very easy for people, many other people also to chant Hare Krishna. Radhe Radhe, some people don't connect. So let us say Hare Krishna and let us connect with everyone. That's better. Okay, so Krishna says that what kind of material motive? Now, material motives can be many. Many people want wealth. Many people want beauty. Many people want fame. Many people want position. Many people want putra prapti. Many people want uh, many material desires. There is no ending list for material desires. So many material desires are there. So people, when they have material motives, that might get fulfilled when they listen to Srimad Bhagavatam, but that is not the real objective of Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is why some Asuras also got nectar. But ultimately, what is the problem? The problem is that they are suffering today. In the sense, they are, the head was cut off. Mohini Avatar actually cut off their head. They couldn't really relish it in a complete way. So similarly, we will also, when people listen to Bhagavatam with material motives, we will be cut off from that Shuddha Bhakti, that Prema Bhakti. So we don't want that to happen, because Prema Bhakti is something that we can connect. Prema Bhakti is something that is our constitutional position. So we are developing our constitutional position here with Krishna. So that should be our motive. Okay. Okay. So let's proceed with our discussion further. So let us now understand that this Bhagavatam is directly given by Narayana to Brahma first, that we have already discussed. Now, the interesting part is uh, in the Skanda Purana, we will take this reference from the Skanda Purana, when Shaunakadi rishis, all the various sages who were assembled in Naimisharanya, those devotees, they all asked Sutta Goswami. They wanted to inquire, oh, dear Sutta Goswami, what happened after the war of Kurukshetra to all these Pandavas? What happened when they actually retired and they all went back to their respective heavenly planets, right? So this was the question: what happened after Mahabharata? The Shaunaka and all the other sages asked this question to Sutta Goswami. Of course, they glorified Sutta Goswami, and Sutta Goswami, for your information, Sutta Goswami is the direct recipient of Srimad Bhagavatam. He was one of the audience when Shukdev Goswami was speaking Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. So Sutta Goswami, after listening to the Srimad Bhagavatam from Shukdev Goswami, he goes to Naimisharanya. And in Naimisharanya, he talks to many other sages over there. Okay? So this is the just context I'm setting, that how Sutta Goswami, why Sutta Goswami is speaking, because Sutta Goswami is the one who directly heard it from Shukadeva Goswami. Now, then here, beautifully it starts explaining, Sutta Goswami starts explaining, this is the part of the Skanda Purana. It is said that, see, Yudhishthira when he wanted to retire, he installed Parishit Maharaj as the emperor of the whole world. This whole world was under Parishit Maharaj. He was the emperor. And then there was this grandson of Krishna, great grandson, called Vajranava. We have heard about Vajranava when we had been to Vrindavan trip last time. So Vrindavan, this Vajranava is a great grandson of Krishna. He was installed as the king of Mathura. So Parikshit is the emperor, and Mathura, the king of Mathura, was Vajranava. So this is just an idea that I'm trying to give you. And Uddhava and Vajranava, these two people were not destroyed by the fratricidal war that happened. See, after the Mahabharata Kurukshetra war, Krishna had to leave. Krishna wanted to go away to his original planet, his abode. So when he went, this whole Yadava family had to be destroyed. And all these Yadavas, they fought among themselves and they all got killed. They killed each other. But only Uddhava, who is also a Yadava, and Vajranabha, who is also Yadava, they both remained. How come? What happened? These two people, how did they remain? So Krishna had given instructions to Uddhava that Uddhava, it is your duty that you need to go to Badrikashram and later you need to propound the Srimad Bhagavatam to others. So that was the understanding. In fact, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 11th canto, there is Uddhava Gita, is one of the biggest section of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Uddhava Gita. Okay, so Uddhava is going to speak, that we will understand a little later. Amazing it is. Okay, so Uddhava, he went to Badrikashram to meet Naranarayan Rishi. So that is how he escaped. He was not a part of the war of among the Yadavas. And then, very interestingly, Vajranabha, what happened? See, when there was a solar eclipse that happened during Krishna's time. And during the solar eclipse, they all went to Kurukshetra. And in Kurukshetra, Krishna, Balaram, all the other queens, Rukmini, Satyabhama, each one of them, they went to Kurukshetra. Because Kurukshetra is considered to be Dharma Kshetra, right? Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra. So all of them assembled in Kurukshetra, including the Brajavasis, all the gopis, Gopas, and most specifically Radharani. Radharani and Krishna met after 100 years, almost 100 years, in Kurukshetra. Okay. So it was a very intense feeling. And what happened was, there was this mother of Vajranabha, I mean, she was carrying Vajranabha at that time. Her name was Usha. She was so attracted to Radharani, she thought that the best perfection of life is, to serve Radharani. So she went to Vrindavan and she started serving Shriji. Shriji is Radharani. So when Usha Mata started serving Radharani, Radharani became very pleased. Very, very pleased. And Usha was actually carrying Vajranabha in her womb at that time. So Vajranabha was that way protected, and he was blessed by Radharani that in future your child will be protected. He will not be destroyed. So he had got boon from Radharani directly. So interesting. Parikshit was protected by Krishna, and this Vajranava was protected by the blessings of Radharani. Just see. So Vajranava that way escaped the war between Yadavas. So this is how this was there, and Yudhishthira had kept or empowered Vajranava to be the king of Mathura. So this is how it is, how they were in the picture. Now Vajranava, once it so happened that he was in Mathura, and Parikshit Maharaj, he decides to go to Mathura and meet Vajranava. And when he goes and meets Vajranava, Vajranava welcomes very beautifully, amazingly, with full respect. And Parikshit was invited into the palace of Vajranava in Mathura. And not just him, but it was also all the 16,100 queens of Krishna were also there in that palace. Now, how this happened? Ah, actually, after Krishna left this planet, Arjuna goes to Dwarka, but by the time he went to Dwarka, Krishna had left, and he was bringing all these queens of Krishna back to Hastinapur. But while he was bringing them back, it so happened that there were some, thieves, the goons, some gundas, they all came, and they actually kidnapped all these 16,100 queens of Krishna. And then Arjuna was so disappointed. He was saying, I'm the same Gandhivadhari, but then I could not protect all these queens. What is the use? All my power I had, it was all because of the presence of Krishna. Just having Gandiva was not really very powerful. Now I understand and realize. So he goes crying to Yudhishthira. Now the question is, okay, this 16,100 in 100 wives who were actually kidnapped, how are they now here in Mathura? They are here in Mathura because first of all we should understand all these queens were kidnapped by Krishna only. They were all different forms of Krishna who came and kidnapped. Because how can somebody touch the queens of Krishna? Please understand. Just like the original Mother Sita was not touched by Ravana. Maya Sita was captured by Ravana and he took the Maya Sita along with him to Lanka. So similarly, here also, the queens of Krishna were not touched by Krishna, not touched by these other goons or anybody else. It was Krishna himself in the different forms who kidnapped and then he later on brought them to Mathura. And they were all in Mathura now. They were also so excited to see Parikshit Maharaj here now. Oh, amazing. And by the way, I said 16,100, not 16,108 wives. Because the 8 principal queens of Krishna, they went back to home, back to Godhead with Krishna. Rukmini, Satyabhama and others. Okay, so only 16,100 wives were there in Mathura, and they all welcomed Parikshit Maharaj. Oh, so wonderful it is. And after discussion, Vajranabha said, I am the king, but I don't have the praja. What is the use of being a king? Mathura had no praja only. Hardly anyone was there. Very few people were there. No animals also. Praja means not just human beings, but also animals. There are no animals also. So what kind of a king I am? So this is a big problem. So he explained this problem to uh, Parikshit Maharaj. So what should I do, my lord? This is the problem. So Parikshit said, okay, if at all we need to get some answers for this, the best thing is that we need to go to, we are in Mathura, and in this Mathura, Brajamandal, there is Shandil Rishi. So we will understand it from Shandili Rishi what it is, why there is no praja here. So now Emperor is calling Shandili Rishi with great awe and reverence. The soldiers, the messengers of Parikshit Maharaj, they go and bring Shandili Rishi who was residing in Brajamandal. And then Shandili Rishi, when he was called upon by Parikshit Maharaj, and he explains that this Brajamandala is beyond the 3 modes. We should understand this Leelas of Krishna that happen. There is one is at a Vyavaharik level, and then there is a Vastivika level. Vastivika Leela is there is Vyavaharika Leela. Vyavaharika Leela is when Krishna was personally present and he was meeting each one of us and doing so many pastimes. That is Vyavaharika Leela, where Krishna could be seen. But now when people go to Vrindavan, oh, where is Krishna? Krishna is still there. Vrindavan, Mathura, Brajamandal, he never leaves. But we are not able to see. Yes. Because Vastavika Leela, which is even now happening in Vrindavan, cannot be seen by this mundane eyes. That's why we always say, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. We have to apply the ointment of love to see Krishna in Vrindavan even now. So when we have that ointment of love applied to our eyes, then we can see even now the Nitya Leela is happening. The Vastavika Leela of Krishna is even now happening. It's very important. So Vajranabha was given this idea. He told that you need to revive. You need to revive this whole Brajamandala. So Parikshit Maharaj, what he did was he went to Hastinapura. He spoke to Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, all the different categories of people in the society, and he told them that you need to go and start settling in Brajamandala on the orders of Shandili Rishi. So Shandili Rishi had given that, these are some places like Barsana, Gokul, Nandagaon, All these different places, you need to go and settle yourself in the Brajamandala, and slowly, Brajranaba, when you go to these different places, in your heart, all these pastimes of Krishna, the places where Krishna performed different leelas will be revealed. You need to go and excavate all these different places of Krishna Leela. See, this is how it all came into picture. What Vrindavan, Brajamandala we see today, it is actually in one sense blessings of Chandali Rishi, and by the hard work of Vajranabha, the great grandson of Krishna, we are able to see Brajamandal today as it is. Why I'm saying all these things? Yes, we'll come to that point. Okay. So now, uh, see, Brajamandala, anyway, since we are talking about Brajamandala, we should know it is so powerful that the great devotees like Prabhupada have seen Krishna in Brajamandal even now. When he was there, and even now, great devotees can see. We all know this king Akbar, and Akbar had a very famous singer in his court called Tansen. And Akbar used to glorify Tansen. Oh, you are amazing. You are the best of the best singer, musician. Tansen would say, no, 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 it's not me. My guru, he is the best. And Akbar would always get, oh, how is this possible? But Tansen say, my guru is the best. He can sing much better than me. So now Akbar got curious. I want to know and I want to meet him. Can I meet him? Tansen said, yes, you can meet him. But if you have to meet him, you cannot come like a king. You need to wear simple clothes. He resides in Brajamandal. He stays in Vrindavan. So you can see him, but you have to come in a very simple way, and then you can listen to him. That is when Akbar and this Tansen, they go to Vrindavan, and then he says, "Okay, you be here and listen to where, to Nidhivan. If you remember, in Nidhivan there is the samadhi of Haridas. So not Haridas Thakur, but there is Haridas who was the guru of Tansen. So there, Tansen glorifies Haridas and says, "My Lord, you are so wonderful." Now, the thing is, you please, uh, you know, there is a problem, you please sing. And then when Haridas starts singing, there is Varsha, there is the rain that comes. And looking at all this, Akbar, he got mesmerized, he got bewildered, so blissful, he was so transformed. And, he was so ecstatic. And after some time, Haridas realizes that, okay, Tansen, you are not alone here in Nidhivan. There is someone else also. And then Tansen says, yes, this is Akbar who is the king. And he's come here because he wanted to see your glory. And now Akbar comes before Haridas and says, you are so wonderful. I am so mesmerized. Please tell me, what can I do? I really want to do something. I want to offer something to you. Please tell me, what should I do? Then Haridas says that if you really want to do something, by the way, Haridas is one who actually found Banke Bihari. Okay, so he says that that Keshi Ghat, there is the step that ghat steps have been broken. Please go and repair. And Akbar was thinking, I am the king, I'm the emperor, and I can give you so many things. But then you are asking me simple thing. He was thinking in the mind that way. He's asking me so simple things. But anyway, with humility, he said, he agreed. So Akbar, he went to Keshi Ghat. And when he went to Keshi Ghat, for his eyes, when he saw the ghat, the steps, they were all bedecked with so many precious stones. And that precious stone is not found anywhere in this world. So when Akbar saw this, he was mesmerized. He said, forget about steps. I cannot even think of doing something like this. He goes back and says, with humility, I'm so sorry. You asked me to do the steps, repair the steps of this Vrindavan, this Keshi Ghat, but I really don't have. Even if I spend all my wealth, I will not be able to get the stones that are there in this Keshi Ghat. So the point here is, what Vrindavan we see through our eyes today is to our material eyes, it looks very different. But in spiritual, if we develop our spiritual eyes, then we can see Vrindavan as it is. Okay, so
With
this
the
is
mercy of Guru.
by the mercy of Guru, by the mercy of Krishna, we'll be able to see Vrindavan in reality, the Vastivika Leela of Vrindavan. By the way, the point is, now Parikshit managed to get all the people from different Varnashramas to get into Brajamandala. including the animals, the monkeys that we see today in Vrindavan, they also came. They also started residing. And today it's like, there's a big monkey Raj in Vrindavan. Nobody can compete with them. So very powerful these monkeys are in Vrindavan. Those who don't know. Okay, so all these discussions and people started settling down, everything happened. Now, Krishna's wife, this 16,100 wives, also got very curious. They wanted to know more about uh, about Krishna, and they were really in deep separation from Krishna because they had spent so much time with Krishna, personal time with Krishna, and suddenly he's gone. So they were in great pain, and they all go to Yamuna once, the 16,100 wives, and there they see Yamuna so joyful, so blissful, and they are like, oh, Yamuna is also very dear devotee of Krishna, and she's so blissful. Now they were all confused in the sense, how can you be so blissful without being not having Krishna? Still, you are so happy. Then Yamuna says, no, I'm not separated from Krishna at all. I'm always with Krishna. Why? Because always Krishna and Radha are performing leelas, and that is why Krishna comes here all the time to please Radharani, and with the mercy of Radharani, I am also seeing Krishna and Radha pastimes here. So Yamuna is very blissful. So they say, oh really? Then if we can we also see and be a part of this leela? So she said, you have to worship Radharani. So all these 16,100 wives, princesses actually, they all started worshipping Radharani. Huh? And then when they were worshipping Radharani, they became more and more purified. And then in this discussion, it also comes up that Uddhava resides in Kusuma Sarovar, even now in Vrindavan. He is actually in Badrikashrama, but one of his Amsha is also in Kusum Sarovar. He is like a trina, like a grass, blade of grass in Kusum Sarovar. Uddhava's place is there when we went to Kusum Sarovar, if you remember. So
Uddhav Kunda.
Uddhav Kund is there, and near Kusum Sarovar, there is Uddhava's place. That small temple of Uddhava is there. So Uddhava, he recommends to Parikshit Maharaj and these 116,100 wives of Krishna to study the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's very important. So, uh, one who does not study, Uddhava says, one who does not study Srimad Bhagavatam, he commits spiritual suicide, Atmaha. Atmaha means spiritual suicide. So Srimad Bhagavatam we are studying is so important because now we are not going to commit spiritual suicide. Okay? So now this Srimad Bhagavatam, which was when Uddhava explains about, okay, now we need to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam here with 16,000, they are all very excited. But then Uddhava tells Parikshit Maharaj, this is going to be an amazing discussion with the Parikshit, but there is also going to be some problem. Now, Parikshit was so excited. He said, yes, 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 yes. It is so nice that, you are going to speak Srimad Bhagavatam. What can be more amazing? Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken for 1 month by Uddhava. And they were all very excited. The Katha is happening, just like, some big party is happening. Everybody we go, right, for a big party, some big congregation of people coming together. So they were also excited that Srimad Bhagavatam is going to happen here. And how did Uddhava come there? Uddhava came because all these 16,108 wives, they started doing kirtan in Kusum Sarovar. They were doing because Yamuna had told them, you please chant. They wanted Uddhava to be there, right? They started doing chanting, amazing chanting, kirtan, sankirtan. Hmm? He Krishna Govinda Hare Murari, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, Govinda Bolo Hari Gopal Bolo, Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Bolo. They were doing so much ecstatic kirtan. Everybody was crying, and all this kirtan is going on. Uddhava could not, keep himself in a hidden form. He came so ecstatic. He had to be present before this 16,100 wives of Krishna, and that is how Uddhava appeared there. So all this is going on. Now Parikshit is very excited. He wants to hear, but then Uddhava says that there is a problem. Parikshit is now, what is the problem? He says, this is Kali Yuga. Uddhava says, in this Kali Yuga, whenever there is some Bhagavatam, Kali puts a lot of impediments, lot of problems. So, Parikshit, you have to go and conquer Kali first. You go and conquer Kali, and I will discuss Bhagavatam. Oh my God, Parikshit is like heartbroken now. Such a nectar that I want to hear directly from Uddhava, and now I'm told that I have to go and conquer Kali. This is what happens. We are all going to discuss Bhagavatam. Sometimes some technical problem will come, internet issues will come, power will go off. Kali will play a lot of problems. He creates a lot of problems, some anxiety, some phone call, some disturbance outside. All these things he will create. Kali is like that. Kali, in some way or the other form, will come and try to disturb us. So I am telling you right away, all those of you who are really serious, be very serious. Because Kali is going to come and put some impediments in the study of the Bhagavatam. So we need to conquer Kali, like Parishit. So what to do? Parishit went. He went to conquer, but Uddhava promised him. Please understand, Parishit, you may miss what I am saying today, but in the future, Vyasananda, that is Shukadev Goswami, Vyasanandan, he is personally going to speak to you Srimad Bhagavatam, and you are the Mool Adhar for Srimad Bhagavatam to be propagated across the world. So, Parikshit, don't worry, you will get Srimad Bhagavatam directly from Shukadev Goswami in the future. So now you go and conquer Kali. So that is how Parikshit Maharaj left to conquer Kali. And here Uddhava started speaking Srimad Bhagavatam for continuously 1 month. So this is how very, very beautifully this recitation takes place between Uddhava and there were great listeners, all these audience who were there in Vrindavan, Brajavasis, the queens of Krishna. And as they were hearing, listening to the Srimad Bhagavatam, each one of them at the end of Srimad Bhagavatam, they all attained their spiritual bodies, their constitutional position. So this is what happened. And some great rishis, they all became very elevated in their spiritual position, some of them. So that is the perfection that they all attained. And this is what is going to happen to each one of us also when we go through this Bhagavatam study, this journey of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's going to be very, very special. And for your understanding, Srimad Bhagavatam recitation. This is very interesting. Srimad Bhagavatam was also recited by Narayana to Lakshmi Devi. Narayana spoke to Lakshmi Devi about Srimad Bhagavatam for 1 month. 1 month, Lakshmi Devi. And this is very interesting, by the way, for all those who are husband and wives, couples, right? So you should know when husband and wife, as husband and wife, the primary duty should be listening to Bhagavatam. Husband, when he's busy, wife should speak Bhagavatam, and wife, when she's busy, husband should speak Bhagavatam. When husband and wife, they keep speaking Bhagavatam, keeping Krishna in the center, it is what? It is Golok Vrindavan only. And even today, there are devotee couples like this, husband and wife, who practice this at home. Either the husband is speaking about Bhagavatam or the wife is speaking about the Bhagavatam. If Bhagavatam is the central discussion point, then that is Vaikuntha only. That is Golok Vrindavan only. So this is something that we can take instructions from Narayana and Lakshmi. Just see, Narayana spoke Lakshmi Devi for 1 month, Srimad Bhagavatam. And when Lakshmi Devi spoke back to Narayana, she took 2 months. So why is it like that? Because Narayana is very busy with creation, destruction, this, maintenance, a lot of things he has to take care. So he spoke in 1 month because he's very busy. But Lakshmi Devi expanded because she has no such responsibilities of creation, destruction. So she took 2 months. And she's explaining to whom? Narayana only. So see, Lakshmi Narayana discussing Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Shiva also discusses Srimad Bhagavatam. He wants to discuss Bhagavatam with Parvati. He also took 1 month. He also discusses Srimad Bhagavatam. Brahmaji, whenever he gets confused with creation, right? He creates, he gets tired. Oh my God, this creation is so much. No. And when he gets little tired with creation, he takes up recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam. He does it for 7 days. So 7 days full Srimad Bhagavatam, Brahmaji recites, and then again, okay, let me create. This is how Brahmaji does. Brahmaji, whenever he goes down with his creation thing, his energy is revamped after listening to Bhagavatam for 7 days. So this Bhagavat Saptah is not a new thing. Bhagavat Saptah is originated from Brahmaji only. So he does Bhagavat Saptah. So when he does Bhagavat Saptah, he is rejuvenated. And again he does creation. So this is Brahmaji. So all these great personalities, they are listening to Bhagavatam, including Lakshmi Narayana, Lord Shiva, and Brahmaji. Isn't it? So amazing it is. So amazing. So, of course, there are many glories. This is just one section from Skanda Purana that we have discussed today. So, there is a lot of importance of Srimad Bhagavatam in our life. So, we have to take inspiration from Lakshmi Narayana, from Brahmaji, uh, from Lord Shiva. And Brahmaji is about creation. Why Lord Shiva has to do recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam? Because destruction is also not so easy. He is the one who destroys everything, right? Pralaya. For Pralaya also, there needs to be a certain way, certain process. So creation and destruction, maintenance, all these things are not so easy. So whenever they want, they have some issues with creation and destruction, they also recite Srimad Bhagavatam. So basically, the point is, whatever you do, you keep doing it in your life, but add Srimad Bhagavatam into your life. So if you add Srimad Bhagavatam into your life, everything will be smooth. You will be rejuvenated. So that is what we are going to start now. From today onwards, the coming whatever the next discussion for next couple of years, whatever it is, we will be discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, beautiful pastime stories. But there is another glory of Srimad Bhagavatam that we will discuss in the next session. We have extended a little bit more today, but next week onwards, we will go smoothly. We will understand a lot of pastimes. But this is one context that I wanted to share how Srimad Bhagavatam has come into picture, how it is so important. From the Uddhava's point of view, from Vajranava's point of view, from that direction, how it has come. So this is what I wanted to share with all of you today. Any questions? Let me see what are the questions. So Vinod is saying, why Kali creating impediments? Yeah, this is very important. Why is he creating impediments? Is because it's also his nature, number one. Kali is like that. Kali is a Asura. And Asuras don't like anything that auspicious that is happening. Okay? So Dwapara Yuga and Kali Yuga. So Kali Purusha and Dwapara Purusha. Dwapara, this Shakuni. Shakuni is a Dwapara Purusha. He is the incarnation of Dwapara Purusha. Okay? And this Duryodhana is a Kali Purusha incarnation. So this Kali and Dwapara, both are Asuras. They don't want any dharma to happen actually. They don't like dharma. So Kali Purusha always puts impediments in our spiritual life. So in our life also, when we want to progress spiritually, they put impediments. They don't want us to progress. So that's why we need to have an attitude like Parikshit Maharaj, who can curb, who can control this Kali Purusha. Okay, so we need to get that strength, that spiritual strength, which we get from chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So that is why. And also it is a test for us. Kalipurusha may throw whatever he wants to, but how sincere am I? Am I going to be tempted by all the offers of Kalipurusha, or am I going to take the offer of Krishna and the Srimad Bhagavatam? Right? So the choice is with us. If we are weak, then we will choose Kali. If we are strong, then we will choose Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is a test. Krishna doesn't give bhakti so easily. Like I told you, it is compared to Mohini Avatara, right? Mohini Avatara gives us Shuddha Bhakti, the nectar. So Krishna doesn't give nectar simply like that. To whom he gives? To Devatas. Who are they Devatas? Sincere devotees. He gives this bhakti, this nectar only to the sincere devotees. So we need to prove our sincerity. Not just once, not just twice. Continuously we need to keep proving our sincerity to Krishna. Then he will give this Shuddha Bhakti to us. Okay. So I hope that answers your question. Let us see. There are a lot of questions today. Okay. So what is this question? Hare means we address energy of Lord, Srimati Radharani, engage in our service. Yes, that is true. And here Krishna says, but why Krishna didn't take his 16,100 wives also with him? Because these 16,100 wives, 100 wives were still having some purification to be done. And that is why when they heard Srimad Bhagavatam from Uddhava, they got purified and then they attained. So there was all these princes, they had come from a background, they all were different princesses from different regions of India. They all were captured by this Asura, Narkasura, and Krishna, as a mercy, he protected all of them, freed them from this cage of Narkasura, and then got them married. But these principal eight queens, they are direct expansions of Lakshmi. Those eight queens, like Rukmini, Satyabhama, they are not ordinary material devotees. They are not part of this material world. They are expansions of Lakshmi Devi. So those expansions of Lakshmi Devi went back with Krishna, but these 16,100 wives who were there, 100 wives, they needed certain purification to be done. They went to Uddhava, got purified, and they attained their spiritual life. That is how it is. Okay? And then Neha also has certain question. So, Prabhu, what is the beautiful meaning of Hare Krishna? Like we know Krishna means Supreme Lord, but what is Hare? Hare, Hara. It comes from the word Hara. Hara means energy of the Lord, the Shakti Tattva. There is Purusha, there is Prakriti. Purusha is Krishna, Prakriti is the feminine energy of the Lord. So Hara is that feminine energy of the Lord. Hare refers to Radha. Hare Krishna, Radha Krishna. Hare Rama, Sita Rama. So Hare refers to the feminine energy. Okay, we are praying to the mother. Oh mother, please engage me in the service of the Lord. Oh Hara, please engage me in the service of Krishna, in the service of Rama. So that is the prayer. So when we say Hare Krishna, we are praying to, actually it is saying Radha Krishna. Hare Rama, it is saying Sita Rama. It is equivalent of saying that way. Okay, so we are praying to Radha and Krishna together. And Hare Krishna Radha energy. Okay, okay, looks like okay. Another question is there, okay. But they also lived their life with Krishna. So how can some purification is left? Huh? Because there were people in Krishna Lila, just like we have this Shishupal. Shishupal was there, but he was envious. Duryodhana, envious. They were with Krishna. But you see how envious these people were. I mean, in front of Krishna, they could have been so purified, right? Just by seeing, but they were not. They were envious of Krishna. So many asuras were there. So each one of us, we may have, like even Sudhama, he's a friend of Krishna, but still, he had some desires. He became a devotee later, but initially he neglected, right? There was some neglect in terms of his devotional service. That's why Krishna had to take him through that whole process of pain, and then finally Krishna gave him what he needed. So similarly, all these queens, they may have been with Krishna directly, but they had certain desires. And all those things got purified after listening to Srimad Bhagavatam. That is how it is. Krishnananda is saying, oh, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma also wants to take break and go to Yatra by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes, they actually do. Wherever there is Srimad Bhagavatam Katha, all these great Devatas, they all assembled, right? Just Sukadeva Goswami, including Vyasadeva, including Narada Muni. Everyone assembled there when Sukadeva Goswami was speaking. So when Srimad Bhagavatam is spoken by a pure devotee, even the great Devatas, they all come and listen to Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam helps us to actually create, destroy. I mean, for them, we don't want to destroy, but we want to progress in our spiritual life. But next session, we will understand a little bit more about the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, and we will also understand what should be the quality of a speaker and the listeners. How should we listen to Srimad Bhagavatam, and how should we also speak about Srimad Bhagavatam? So, what are the qualities of the listener and the speaker? That we will discuss. All this is very important to understand before we actually start understanding and discussing the beautiful pastimes. Because only when we have the right mindset, with the right mindset, we need to listen to the pastimes. So we will understand all this and create the right mindset before we dive into the different pastimes of Krishna. Okay, so very nice. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining today. And I'm so glad we have started this journey, and we will continue as long as we can and purify ourselves. I'm so very happy to share this Bhagavatam with all of you. Please take care and we'll meet again. Hare Krishna. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Prabhuji, thank you so
Krishna
much.
Prabhuji.
Oh,
Hare
Vrindavan.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes,
It
Vrindavan.
Krishnananda.
was very nice, Prabhuji, to hear so many kathas, so many. It was
Huh?
amazing. Thank
Right, Mataji, right. Actually, there are, just see, there are so many ways. Actually, Bhagavatam, I have to share so many things again. But we will understand one by one. Just the glory of Bhagavatam is so much. So we will have to understand the glory of Bhagavatam because that is going to create a lot of excitement. Okay, so amazing it is.
Prabhuji, we have to be very attentive because you're saying so many things. It requires a lot of rapt attention.
Ah, yes.
Yes, and I'm hearing it in the kitchen, so hopefully the food is purified.
Not hopefully, you should not have a doubt also. It is
Yes,
purified.
Prabhuji, it is purified. Food will be purified. I will take time, Prabhuji.
Yes, it will take time
That's why
because
Lakshmi.
food does not have desire, but we have desire, so it will take time.
That's why Lakshmi Devi is more eager to speak about Bhagavatam.
Yeah,
She's taking 2 months. She's taking 2 months, as Prabhu told.
yes,
Vishnu is taking 1 month. Lakshmi Devi is taking 2 months. So when somebody is taking more time, that means she or she is more eager to speak about Bhagavatam.
yes,
Narayana and Krishna is non-different. Both are same
yes,
in one sense. But Lakshmi Devi or Radharani is more glorious. That's why somebody asked, right? Why Radhe Radhe? Radhe Radhe because they are in that mood. Yeah, we are not. At least I am not in that mood. Yeah, of Radharani. That's why I chant Hare Krishna.
yes,
When I
yes,
come to that mood, then I am
yes,
free to chant Radhe Radhe. But for now, my condition is that I am unable to chant Hare Krishna. For
yes,
Vrindavan, people who are staying in Vrindavan, it's natural. They are in that
yes,
mood. Uh, They are daily recite. Everything is Bhagavatam for them. Daily reading, daily saving. Krishna Katha is
yes,
the life. For us, we have
right,
to take a break and we have to take a break from a busy work and then hear Bhagavatam. For them, there is no break, it's continuous.
yes. So we should make this a continuous process also. So that's why within the family, each one of you, whenever you get a chance, keep reading Bhagavatam. Okay, we will understand. This is a session that will happen on Sundays. Okay, but parallelly, you can start reading Bhagavatam, and you will have a lot of questions also, and we will take up those questions and other details, philosophical things. But keep reading Bhagavatam on your own parallelly along with this discussion. Okay, so that is very interesting. So uh, there's another question. Krishna is saying, so even if the Lord is present physically in front of us, still we would have some desires and not full bhav and surrender? Yes, because each one of us, we have this independence, right? We are all independent. We have independent thinking, feeling, and willing. So unless we completely surrender, we will not be able to have this bhav, that that prema bhakti. So it needs the chesta, that endeavor from our side, so that we can connect with Krishna. Krishna will never, he may be in front of us, but we still may not have developed that much love for him. So that is why I'm talking about practical application of Bhagavatam is because love comes by performing action. When you perform action for Krishna, that is devotional service. When we do devotional service again and again and again and again, now, for example, deities are there. Deity is Krishna only, no. There is no difference between the deity of Krishna in the temple and Krishna. But are we really completely purified? No, we have material desires. Even though Krishna is there for us in our temple, we are still not purified. Why? Because anyway, we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The Hare Krishna Mahamantra is non-different from Krishna, right? Nama Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Abhinnatva Nama Naminaha. There is no bhinna between Krishna and Krishna's words, the mantra. But still we have material desires. Getting the point? So we may have been, we are in connection with Krishna in the form of holy name, in form of the deities, but material desires are still there. So we need to put our efforts, devotional service continuously so that we get purified. So similarly, all the 16,100 wives were in connection with Krishna directly, personally, but they all needed some last little bit of purification, which they got by listening to Bhagavatam. And hopefully that will happen with you, each one of us. We all are connected with Krishna right now through the name, holy name, and deities and devotees. But now, with this study of Bhagavatam, we will all be purified and we may attain our spiritual constitutional position. That is the whole idea. Okay. So let me check if
Chaitanya
there
Prabhu
are.
is there.
Yeah.
Chaitanya Prabhu is there.
Okay. So with this, let me end the session on YouTube. And if there is any question on StreamYard, you can continue to ask me. Thank you everyone
Oh,
for joining today. Very, very happy to have all of you today. So thank you very much. Take care. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Vrindavan, Prabhu. Vrindavan, how many people have registered?
Okay.